What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Scotty Talks NBA. I am back tonight with my regular co-host from Turf Talk. He is joining me to talk some Sixers tonight, and that is Dylan Davis. Make sure, if you're not already, give Dylan a follow on Twitter at DylanJB98. Yeah, that's a new app we're coming out
I don't know
with.
what that is, but I'm down.
Mixed with what is it, the Triller or the Thriller app, Triller,
Yeah,
whatever hosts those
Triller.
fights, and we'll mix it with Twitter and call it
Mhm.
the Twilla app. And it was originally designed by DSM Media.
There you go.
Not sure of the purpose yet, but we're gonna repurpose
No.
it and really come out with this.
I don't know if we over here at DSM Media have the brain power to create an app of any sort. So we'll stay posted for that.
Oh, silly you, Dylan. We have the power to do anything we put our minds to, and that is a proven fact here with DSM Media. Which good starting point. Make sure, if you're not already, subscribe to DSM Media on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, turn the notifications on so you're notified every time we go live. And of course, make sure you're following me at Scotty Drowned on Twitter, and then of course make sure you're following DSM Media at DSM_media on Twitter. Before we get started, obviously we got some housekeeping today. We got a huge giveaway going on. And I know this is a Sixers, this is an NBA show, but we're going to talk a little bit of Eagles because it is that time in Philadelphia where the Eagles are actually at the beginning of their playoff run. So we're real excited over here at DSM Media as a Philly-based content creating company to give away some Eagles gear for the upcoming playoff matchup with the Bucks on Sunday. So right here we'll start. This is for our DSM Media TikTok account. So if you go over to TikTok, follow at DSM Media, and then find this post with this graphic. You'll see it pinned right at the top of the page.
Mm-hmm.
You comment, do something major on this graphic, and then you like the video. We will get you entered in to win a Devontae Smith black alternate jersey, as well as a Devontae Smith framed picture. And I do want to throw out there, my buddy here, Dylan, definitely tweeted it out earlier from the DSM Twitter page. Tonight only. If you go and follow these instructions, you will be entered in to win these items 2 times. So your name will be entered into each drawing twice. And it is important to, let everybody know for clarity, all of these giveaways are separate. So there will be separate winners picked for each item down the line. Now, for the TikTok giveaway here, you will receive both of these items. So I just want to make that clear. One winner, both of these items. So make sure you head over to TikTok, follow at DSM Media, comment, do something major, and like the video. And then over on YouTube, we got another giveaway going on. We have the 2021 Eagles Playoffs t-shirt. So we're getting ready for the playoffs to start this weekend. Get right on down with the groove and get this playoff t-shirt. Make sure you're getting entered in to win this. By doing this, all you need to do is subscribe to DSM Media on YouTube. Comment, do something major on any one of the videos. We will find it. We will get you entered in. And like this specific video that we're talking about right now. So like the video, comment, do something major, and we will find you. And then obviously subscribe to the YouTube page. Once again, this equals 2 entries. So make sure you're subscribing to the DSM Media YouTube page. And then finally, for all of our Twitter people, if you only function on Twitter, that's fine. We got you covered. Make sure you head over to Twitter. Follow DSM_media. Make sure you find the post that is pinned at the top of the page and comment, do something major, hashtag it right in the comments section. And then, of course, retweet it so you can get other Eagles fans involved. That's the main goal of this. We're trying to bring the Eagles community together. We're gathering you right here on DSM Media. We got you covered with all the Philly content. And we want you guys to get engaged with each other, not only us, but each other, as we get ready for this huge playoff run for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, dude, it's huge. And this one might be my favorite right here. These 2 t-shirts.
Yeah.
The Brian Dawkins tie-dye Mitchell and Ness t-shirt and the Randall tie-dye Cunningham. The Randall Cunningham tie-dye Mitchell and Ness t-shirt. Guys, it's that simple. We're not all we're trying to do is give back to you guys who follow us and interact with us and support us. And by doing so, we're trying to grow our brand as well. Just get a couple, more followers on each platform and grow each day. So all you have to do is hit a few buttons, follow, comment, and retweet, and you're entered twice tonight to win each one of these giveaways. And I think something that's important too is if you win one, like let's say we raffle off the playoff t-shirt first, your name does not get taken out of the others if you're qualified for the others already. So just because you won the first doesn't mean, you don't have a chance to win the jersey. You could potentially, it's randomized, but potentially walk away with more than one giveaway as well. I think one quick note that we were talking about earlier, Scotty, is the date. I think we're gonna postpone that January 14th date that you see down there that's set for Friday. I think we're gonna move it to Sunday. This Sunday, Turf Talk live 10 a.m. here on DSM Media, the biggest Eagles pregame show of the year that we want to get you guys involved in. We will raffle off these winners that morning to build the excitement for the Eagles-Bucks playoff game a little bit more.
Yes, sir. And I think that's a good point to note out. Obviously, the 16th of January is going to be the official giveaway date, so we will get the graphic updated as well. But yeah, we just wanted to extend the time, give more people an opportunity to get involved. As I mentioned, we want to get you all to not only engage with DSM Media. Obviously, our goal here as a content creating company, we want as many eyes on it as we can get because we have great stuff to give out. We have great knowledge to give out, and we have great ways of getting fans involved. But we also want you to get engaged with yourself. If we can get everybody in one spot and on these social media platforms, then all we're going to have is engagement from across the board in the Philadelphia community. So, it's a good point to note out. We are extending that date to the 16th. Another side note is if you're not an Eagles fan, whatever the case may be, this isn't an Eagles only show. And this isn't an Eagles only, content creating company. We do cover the NFL. We cover the NBA across the board. So
really centric.
Stay tuned for other giveaways, right? It won't always be, based around the Philadelphia teams, although we are Philly centric here. So definitely some good side notes there, but let's get down to business tonight, Dylan. We're going to talk some NBA. We're going to talk some Sixers. And I think another good side note before I move on, we will be doing Sixers giveaways as well. So that's another, thing to look forward to. NBA tickets, Sixers tickets. Mm-hmm. So keep an eye out for those type of giveaways as well. And another reason to subscribe to DSM Media. But we had the Sixers taking on the Houston Rockets last night in Houston. The Sixers were looking to get their 7th straight win. Embiid obviously looking to continue his dominance that he's shown over the last few games. Dylan, initial thoughts as we start to dive into the Sixers tonight. What were your initial thoughts on this game and any takeaways?
My initial thought on this particular game against Houston is kind of it goes along with the trend of the last few games we've seen against shorthanded teams like the Spurs or the Rockets before or the Magic. And it's that they're no longer allowing these lesser talented teams, these shorthanded teams, stick around with them late into games. They're kind of putting a fork in these teams early, as they did last night to Houston. Houston stuck around for like the first 6 minutes, and then all of a sudden it was like a 12-point-6er lead, 14-point-6er lead, and the game was kind of just taken from there. But the biggest talking point that I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time on tonight is Joel Embiid. Yeah. Scotty, he's playing at a level right now and last night where he's no longer allowing bad teams to beat the Sixers. Yeah. Like him alone, he is so dominant right now. He's no longer allowing that to happen. And that's something you and I talked about before, kind of like his energy level being down, not as engaged on certain nights against lesser talented teams or on the road. He's not doing that anymore. He's putting his foot on the gas early, and he's not letting up. Obviously, tied his career high or season high, whatever it was last night, with 17 points in the first quarter, most points in a single quarter for Joel Embiid, tied that. So he's super dominant right now, and that's the biggest thing. That's the only that's where the eyes go in a win like this.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. And just to be clear, obviously Embiid, he's been on a tear lately. 7 consecutive games with 30-plus points. and 9 consecutive road games with 30-plus points. So that's another thing to point out there as well. He's dominating on the road where obviously his team needs him to perform well. So it's over the top impressive as always. Something that I wanted to point out, well, before I get into what I wanted to point out, Daniel Tice, I mean, this guy, he just has a knack for getting dominated and embarrassed by Embiid. And I don't know.
Come on, man.
I don't know why it happens. I don't know what he did to Embiid, but this man just attacks him from the jump every time they face up.
Yeah, dude. Like, and again, that goes back to the mentality thing. Like, you would see Joel and the Sixers team kind of just let lesser talented guys and lesser talented teams stick around.
Yeah.
Daniel Tice can't guard you, dude.
Yeah.
Stop deferring to Toby. Stop deferring to Maxey. I know he didn't play last night and Seth didn't play last night, but stop deferring. Put your foot on the gas early, and that's exactly what he did. Like, Daniel Tice can't guard Joel Embiid on any level of the floor. You can't guard him out the three-point line. He'll take him off the dribble. You can't guard him in the mid-range. He'll shoot over him and draw contact. He can't guard him in the post because he'll draw contact and finish over him. Like, he can't guard him in any level of the game. And no one can. And I think that's something that, not that it's just starting to click. I think Joel Embiid has always known that, but something you're seeing more and more. Like, you talked to, like, the last 7 games, last 9 games. Scotty, over his last 10 games, his worst stat line is 23 and 10. Besides those 23 points, his lowest, point total for a night is 31 in his last 10 games. It's ridiculous. Insane. But yeah, poor Daniel Tice, dude. All right.
Let me ask you a question. Is this like, and take it with a grain of salt because Embiid is a highly confident guy. Is this the most confident and in shape that you've seen Embiid in his entire career?
Yep. 100%. I'll say it over and over again. Yup. Like, he looks that dominant. And I love the conversation that we continue to have. Like, you look back on the numbers of last year, the MVP type numbers. If he doesn't miss so many games, he wins the MVP.
Yeah.
But the Sixers were also the 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
This year, he was putting up a little less, in the statistics per night, and he wasn't shooting well, but the Sixers were struggling. So he's not getting that acknowledgement. This stretch is the most dominant stretch of Joel Embiid's entire career. He is more dominant. He is playing at a higher level right now than he ever did at any stretch last season in an MVP runner-up type season.
Yeah.
That says a ton. Yes, he's in shape. He probably the best shape of his life, and he's uber confident right now because he's doing things. Scotty, he's playing point center. He's bringing the ball up. He just had a freaking triple-double the other night. Like, his assist numbers are better. A behind-the-back feed to cutting Matisse Thybulle for a slam. Like, he's doing things I've literally never seen before.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, and that's why I brought it up, because the confidence thing, it shows in so many levels on the court and off the court.
Like, let me ask you what I just pointed out. You think he throws that behind-the-back pass, that no-look feed to Thybulle if he's not as confident as ever?
No way in hell.
No.
And mind you, he tried it again last night, and he threw it straight out of bounds. But hey, it's gonna happen when you're trying to, be fancy with the ball and do these particular passes. But the fact that he's able to do that and he's confident enough to do that, and something that was pointed out last night during the broadcast was that he's been studying like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant,
exactly. So
trying to pick up on like their ball handling skills.
I was just going to bring this up.
It's insane, bro.
Exactly. So like, shout out to our dude Brock.
Yeah,
real quick, because he does a great job with these, Sixer Embiid breakdowns and comparing him to previous players. The thing that he's highlighting right now about Joel Embiid, he had a video out today on his Twitter, at Landis Brock. Embiid isn't just studying and doing things like we've seen other great big men do. He's not just like Kareem, like Olajuwon, like he's not just doing things previous great centers had done. Scotty, he's taking moves out of Mike's book, out of Kobe's book, right? Like he's taking pages out of like shooting guards, some of the best scorers ever, putting the ball on the floor, back to the basket, crossover, fade away off of 1 foot in the corner, splash over a defender. He's 7 feet tall. That should not happen.
It's honestly, I put a TikTok out earlier today. TikTok. Oh my God. I put a TikTok out earlier today and was just expressing my gratitude for Embiid because honestly, I do. I think he's the most dominant player on the planet right now. And I know a ton of people will argue about that. They'll say that we're being biased in Philly. But I'm telling you, you watch this guy on a night in, night out basis, you really see what we're talking about. And you have to watch it. You can't just peek at the box score. The box score doesn't show everything. Embiid, he put up 31 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists last night. He only played 3 quarters. He didn't play the entire fourth quarter last night, and he put up that stat line. So this is the type of stuff you can't see that by looking at the box score. You got to watch the game and see what he's doing. Because like you said, he comes out the gate, and it's the confidence that we're speaking on. He comes out, he knows exactly what he's going to do to these guys. And he actually, it's not that he knows what he's going to do. It's that he has an answer for everything that they throw at him. And now that he's adding this passing ability, he's literally unstoppable. Yeah, Matisse cutting in the right area as the dunker spot. Matisse is getting more comfortable. It's unstoppable.
And also something that Gintz pointed out a lot on the show that I love is he's doing more than he's ever done on the defensive side of the floor too, obviously, because 2-5 is not there. He's having to do more, right? That just shows his his energy level. That just shows where he's at physically right now. But another thing, Scotty, his leadership it has grown this year as well. Yeah, I think we all do right now.
Yeah, Chris. I just wanted to welcome Chris to the party because we're all enjoying it.
We're all on that boat. But the thing, like, I love his leadership this year too. Like, seeing that he has to step up, and you saw how he was joking with Maxey, but I'm sure he was actually getting on Maxey before. Maxey responds. He's messing with them at the press conference. Like, he wants more out of Maxey. Thibault, he's openly come out and talked to Thibault about being more active, shooting when you're open, shoot the three. Well, like, his leadership is at an all-time high right now. Yeah. And he's not just doing it through words; he's doing it through action on the floor.
100%, and that's another great point because you mentioned the Matisse comments after the previous game, and once again, it just exemplifies Joel Embiid's growth as a leader, his confidence, and like you said, he calls him out for not shooting the open threes. What's Matisse go out there and do last night? He shoots a season high 5 attempts from 3-point line, and he made 2 out of 5, which is
right. And what's
exactly
that telling
what we
you?
want to see.
That's telling you that his message is getting across to these younger guys as well. It's not just, it's not just blank words. He's saying something and they're not doing anything about it. His message is getting across, received. I'm going to go and do that.
And I also think, it partly tells Daryl Morey as well, right? Like, it lets the Sixers organization know that Embiid now knows what everybody else is. Like, when you start your career as a professional athlete, you start worrying about yourself. You got to make sure you're in the right spots. You make sure that you're doing your job at that time. Now Embiid is branching out as a leader, and he's taking responsibility for other guys people's
are in their spot.
Exactly. So he's starting to let everybody in the building know exactly what Embiid thinks this team needs to win, and what has he done other than prove that that's what this team needs to win, because he can legit carry this team. It's wild to watch.
What's impressive over the streak that he's on right now, over the stretch that Joel Embiid's on, Scotty, is it's not just like blank statistics. It's not just like wow moments each night. It's not just, huge numbers.
Yeah.
They're resulting in W's. I know the schedule has eased up over the last 7.
That's the biggest thing.
With the big win in Brooklyn over the Nets, right? But they're taking care of business on his dominant play. It's not, Embiid gave me 35 and 15, but we lost.
Yeah. or an
No.
overtime game, right?
Yeah,
Against the Rockets.
he's
not that.
dominating and they're coming away with wins. And a team that was, sitting in that 7, 8, 9 seed before, oh, they're going to be a play-in team this year if they don't make a move for Ben Simmons. Well, that team is now 2 games out of second place in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Because of him.
Exactly.
Like I think that's the biggest thing, right? I'm sure we're going to talk about this stretch, but like other guys have stepped up. Tobias Harris has kind of gotten a little bit. He's starting to turn the corner. He's starting to come back around from that big slump that he was in.
Yeah.
Mitzi Steibel is doing a little bit more offensively. Furkan's not ice cold, right? Like Furkan's shooting the ball better right now. Drummond and Niang are still contributing, but it's 85% on the shoulders of Joel Embiid right now.
Yeah.
That this win streak is occurring.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously we're gonna talk a little bit about the Ben Simmons thing. So just stick with us here, Chris. We are gonna touch on the Ben Simmons rumors recently. Who is your favorite player? I mean, Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, Tyrese Maxey has worked his way up there. I do love the kid, but I mean, when we're talking from flat out, I've been with this guy for years.
Joel's my favorite athlete in the city right now.
Yeah,
that's
favorite athlete.
Like, I love Bryce Harper. I love Bryce Harper. Joel Embiid's my favorite Philadelphia athlete.
Yeah, I would have to 100% agree. Like just off the top, there's nobody that matches like not only the talent. Like we can talk about Embiid versus Harper talent to each sport, whatever the case may be, but character as well. And Harper has a great attitude as well. He embraces Philly. He's just not as outspoken as Embiid. Embiid is funny. He's got like the whole character going on, and he gets Philly, and that's what it comes down to. But that is an interesting conversation that maybe we can like draw a vote on. Like, who do Philly fans like more? Because like I think it would be the consensus: Bryce Harper and Joel Embiid.
You know who I guarantee finds his way in that conversation? Like, if you put that tweet out, Jason Kelsey would get 900 tweets.
Yeah,
900 tweets.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's a conversation. So I don't know. That's something interesting. Maybe we'll get into that in the offseason of these sports and stuff. But no, that would definitely have to be our favorite player. I think we can both agree on that, and maybe the best player in the Philadelphia area right now. But I did want to, before we move to Tobias, I did want to touch on Embiid. Currently 5th in the league in scoring right now, 27 points per game, 10.6 rebounds per game, which is 9th. And he also has a 29.64 PER, which is actually 3rd in the NBA, which that has a lot to do with just usage, stuff like that. So he's killing it. He's top 10 in almost all of his statistics. And then on top of that, in the month of January, he's averaging 6.8 assists per game. So talk about
by the way, don't forget the clutch numbers.
Yes, leads the league in clutch points by a mile. Like it's not close. He's first. The next person's off by about 40 points. So it is pretty amazing what he's doing, man.
So different, man. Like he's in you always hear the conversation, and I won't argue it. Like we haven't won a championship yet with Joel Embiid as the focal point, right? So the argument of you can't win a championship with your best player being a center, with your finisher being a center. You're not wrong. As of right now, we haven't seen that theory, disproven.
Right.
But in a league that is so guard driven, 3-point, the league's changing, right? The 7-foot monster averages 27, 11, and 6. Like what? He's so different, dude.
And I know people will point to Jokic, but they're just two different. They're two different phenomenons. And Jokic is a phenomenon in himself, right?
Yeah.
He has his own qualities that makes him different from Embiid. They're just two different. They play two different styles of basketball. And Embiid is really, really bringing in on this passing side of his game, and that's going to be what really takes him to the next level. And I think we're all realizing that now as we start to see him form it. Just being able to pass out of double teams, it's going to make this team that much better. And I don't think there's much more we can say about Embiid. This team goes how he goes, and it's as simple as that. Just to point to some of the other guys from last night, obviously Tobias Harris, you mentioned him. He's been better of late. Last night wasn't great, but he also wasn't required. As we said, this game was over by the end of the third. He wasn't required to do too much. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. In January, Tobias Harris, 47.6% from the field, 28.6% from 3-point. That's where he's obviously got to improve. He's one, got to take more 3-pointers, and two, he has to hit them. I mean, that's going to be the difference until he gets over that 30 to 35% mark at 3-point. He's going to get chewed out by fans. That's just going to be the way it is.
Listen, I'm not here to bash Toby. If I had one criticism from last night, it's Tobias Harris needs to stop pulling up from deep off the dribble.
Off the dribble, yeah. I agree.
Because every time he does, and he did it again last night,
straight off the back,
it is a missile. An absolute piss missile.
I saw it, dude.
Missing every inch of the rim, right off the glass, back the other way. I want Toby to shoot threes. He needs to knock down threes. Stop doing it off the dribble. Because you just see his moment. Scotty, everything's off when he does it. Like when Toby pulls up from beyond the arc off the dribble, he in his jumper, he leans forward. Yeah. Like in air, he leans forward. He like pushes the ball rather than raising up and letting it fly. If he caught it off the pass and put it up, just watch it. Like if I can find a clip, I'll send it to you. Off the dribble, and his body goes this way instead of straight up. Like it's weird, dude. And every time, piss missile off the backboard.
I specifically saw the first one. And I think it was the first three he took in the game, and he was on a fast break.
You're like, oh, let's go. Oh, no, pull it.
He tries to pull like a Danny Green pull, which I can't stand what Danny does, let alone Tobias. He tries to do like one of those pull up on the fast break threes from the side, and that shit went straight it's coming from this angle on my mic, and it went over the rim, top of the mic, and hit the backboard and just straight back to the other side of the court. I'm with you, Tobias. That's always been his thing, though. He needs to pick his shots better. It's as simple as it is, and that's why his efficiency's down. He's got to pick his shots.
Hey, listen, better. I'll take that if that means that he's making quicker decisions, right? That's a quick decision he made. The result wasn't there. That's fine, as long as he continues that decision-making process throughout the rest of his game, right? Because that's what Doc tried to get out of him last year. You heard that. Quick decisions, like no holding on to the ball. He doesn't want Toby in ISO, dribble, shot clock, go. You know what I mean? Like it's Toby, 1, 2, 3 seconds, pass or go, right? And if he does that in the rest of his game, I'm all for it. But I would love to cut that part out of his 100% out of his repertoire.
Something else to point out about Tobias, and just to be fair to him, because I think it's something that's not getting talked about much. And maybe it's because it's not blowing his previous numbers out, but it just seems like he's playing a lot harder defensively. He's going after boards a lot more. He facilitates a lot better. Like on the fast break, you'll see him make some nice passes. The pick and roll with him and Andre Drummond in that second unit is really nice. They got really good chemistry there. So he has stuff to build off of from recent play. We do have to see him be effective because, he was great against the Spurs and he was great against the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be great against the Celtics on Friday. He needs to be great against the Heat later on this month. He needs to be great against those good teams. That's where we need him. It was great to see it against these lesser teams, and it's great to get him back on track, but we need to see it against these better teams in order to believe it. You mentioned Korkmaz. He had a decent night last night, shot 50% from the field, 50% from three, 12 points. Matisse, we already talked about him. He got into double figures. Drummond, 13 points, 10 rebounds, giving us quality minutes. He's looked great since returning.
He's the man.
He's looked great.
Every year, you get that over the last 2 or 3 years, you get that backup big, and you're like, all right, this is the best center Joel Embiid's ever had behind him. This is the best center Joel Embiid's ever had behind him. No, this is quite literally the best center up to this point of his career that Joel Embiid has ever had backing him up.
Yeah.
The dude just comes in off the bench and just gives you an easy double-double. Like he's on the glass. Like we love Dwight. Why? Because he controlled the boards, right? Drummond controls the boards even more. And he can do a little bit more offensively. And he's more engaged he's more of a weapon offensively. Like Dwight out there, unless Dwight's catching a lob, forget about it. No, Drummond can do some things okay. In a half court set. He's effective in the pick and roll. He can catch lobs just like Dwight could, right? So I do really, really like Andre Drummond. It's been one of the better signings. And what did Niang post last night? Did he play a lot last night?
He played. He didn't do much. It seemed like he was having a little bit of a rough time because.
Yeah,
So Niang is funny because
I love
don't get me
George
wrong. He's been a great addition and he's gonna really come in handy in the playoffs because he brings like a toughness and IQ that this team just hasn't had in recent years. But last night, it's these certain matchups because Houston is like this young, athletic, lengthy team. That's no good for Niang, right? He needs those teams that are going to focus on Joel. They're going to play him, double team him. He can feed off of that.
No,
But last night Niang was trying to go one-on-one a little bit. He's getting thrown around by those young guys.
he don't back down, bro.
He doesn't back down. That's what you love about him, though. Niang's been great. I don't know what his stat line was last night, but my opinion, he always brings a positive effect. The thing about Niang, right? He always hits a shot when you think things like if things are going sideways, like the Sixers are about to give up a lead. Who hits the shot that that pushes them back over that hump? Niang. If they're about to go into a stretch where if they don't get this bucket, this game's over.
Right.
Niang hits a three, brings them right back into it. He's done this so many times this season. And it's just such a relief to have somebody like that coming off the bench, man.
Are we going to talk about the Charlie Brown Jr. contract?
Hey, pretty soon. I mean, if Matisse continues to operate in that dunker spot like he is, he's looking better than Ben Simmons on the offensive end. He's looking better than Ben Simmons against the Hawks.
I thought Chris Bosh was going to comment this.
Oh yeah, what's up with that? Did he change his name?
That's his Twitch account, I think.
Oh,
Chris Bosh 4. Chris Bosh, if you're in the chat, let us know.
No, but Charlie Brown got signed to a. I know I said Charlie.
Why? Can I like the sidebar here?
Yeah.
Why do older people say that? My grandfather says it. Charlie. No, the R didn't fall off.
I don't know why it came out of my mouth.
But you've heard that before, right?
Yeah,
like my grandpa says,
Charlie
my cousin Charlie. No, there's an R in there somewhere. There's an R.
Hey, we got Hall of Famer Chris Bosh.
There we go. Welcome.
Welcome to the show, Chris.
The best is I'll see you Sunday. Monday.
Sunday.
All right, I mean, I think there's a vowel missing somewhere at the end of that word, but sure.
Yeah, Charlie Brown Jr. What a name and what a hairstyle, right? But they did sign him to a 2-way contract, which he does bring some length. He brings some energy, which right now is great. Obviously, he's not going to get a ton of playing time once Tyrese Seth was out last night.
Can I let you in on a little secret? He's not going to get any playing time.
Yeah, anytime. It's better wording there.
When those guys come back.
Yeah, and that is a side note because I can't wait for Maxey to get back. I love the point Embiid, the point Ferk.
It's great.
I'm ready for a point Maxey to get back and get a real point guard in the system here. And I do want Embiid to continue to build that chemistry with Maxey. I don't want them being apart from each other too long this season. But
by the way, Austin Krell tweeted before the show that Tyrese Maxey is not on the injury report tomorrow against Charlotte, so it's looking like he'll be back.
Interesting. Good. So that's good news. Obviously, Shake injured his back the other night. I'm not sure what has happened, what the status is of that, but he's been out the last 2 games. And then who was the other one that I'm forgetting? Seth. Seth was out last night. So he'll be back, I'm sure. Want to take a look at a graphic that we kind of looked at, a couple weeks ago. Now, before we jump into this graphic, there's obviously a game that is missing.
We're missing a piece.
Last night's game, the Houston Rockets that we played. So when we first looked at this graphic, Dylan, obviously we can see where the Sixers were. They were at the 6th seed at that point. They have moved up to the 5 seed now, I believe. Is that correct? 5 seed or 4 seed?
Yeah, and they're like a game out of 4th, a game and a half out of 3rd, 2 games out of 2nd or something.
Games out of 2nd. So they are in the 5th seed right now. So they did move ahead of Cleveland. And if you look at this list of games, include that Rockets game last night, they're 6-0 during this stretch. They still have the Hornets, Celtics, Miami Heat, and Wizards, and then the Magic in their next 5. So what we looked at this graphic and we said, I think you said 7-3.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now we're looking at what? 6-0. Yeah, we're looking at 6-0 basically.
Yeah.
Obviously it would be 11 games, so it would be a little bit different of a prediction, but starting out 6-0, what are your expectations over these next 5 games? What do you want to see?
Slightly different between expectations and what I want to see. Obviously you look at the bottom part of that with the Wizards on the road and the Magic at home. Those both have to be wins. I think they will be.
Yeah.
So, if you're okay with finishing this stretch 2-3, I guess. But that would mean losing the next 3 to Charlotte,
Right.
Boston, and Miami, with 2 of those being at home. I think you got to go 2-1 over the next 3. I think you got to take Charlotte, at home. You got to win that game. And Boston's falling apart right now at the seams. Yeah. So you got to win that game. If you lose in Miami, I mean, I don't know. Miami has seemed to have a lengthy injured list all year long. So injury report all year long. So I don't know what that's going to look like come the 15th. But
after that Gabe Vincent outing, I'm not putting anything past the Miami Heat.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Because they always throw that zone out there, man, and that's that is a Sixer killer.
But you get my point, right? Like basketball. to me, let's make it 8 straight. You take care of Charlotte at home, right?
Right.
You split the next 2. Even though Boston's falling apart right now, they're healthy with Tatum and Brown. It's that rivalry. You're never just going to say, okay, we're going to take care of the Boston Celtics tonight. You got to split between them and the Heat, and then you win the final 2 in Washington at home against Orlando. Right. And I'm ecstatic over this 11-game stretch.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And, looking at it from, the perspective of before we got to where we are now. So if we just saw this as a clean slate as we originally did, we said, 7-3, 6-4 would be positive. At that point, they were sitting at the 6th seed. Things weren't great, right? Now we look at it, they're on a 7-game winning streak, and Embiid is on fire. You got, some reinforcements returning soon. I'm looking at these games and I'm like, man, why can't we get to a 10-game winning streak? A 12-game winning streak. Like, this is the opportunity of the season right now to create some separation and to gain some ground in the East. If you drop a game, I won't be mad if they drop a game, any of those 3 in the middle there, Celtics, Heat, or Wizards. If you drop one of those games, I'm okay with that. But at this point, I'm looking at the Celtics. That needs to be a W, especially at home.
Okay.
The Celtics are not good. They're the 10th in the East. They are below 500.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Why that game, but the Wizards, you could see them lose? Like, why flop the Celtics and the Wizards? I'm more scared. I know Boston's falling apart, but I'm more scared of Boston than I am.
Oh, no. I agree with you 100%. I would also, so to be clear on what I'm saying they should win all 3 of those games.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, if they drop any one of those 3,
gotcha.
I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it if they lose to the Celtics on Friday, just because maybe they're due for a loss. But, like, in reality, the shape that the Celtics are in right now, all the turmoil that's going on, they're barely beating the Pacers last night, or who are trying to sell everybody. They should beat the Celtics. They should beat the Heat without Jimmy Butler, right? Like, the Heat without Jimmy Butler shouldn't beat this Sixers team. Yeah. The Wizards shouldn't beat the Sixers team if they drop one in those 3.
I don't know, man. Montrezl Harrell seemed a little unhappy last time.
Hey, it's almost a good thing that if he does come out and wants to act like he has a chance against Embiid, because it just fuels Embiid more. Yeah. Like last night, I saw Christian Wood, the previous Sixer. He played for the Sixers twice already. And he was on like a 5-game, 20-plus point streak. Last night, he ends the game with like 14 points. Embiid just goes at his. So we talked about Daniel Tice. He exits the game. Christian Wood goes on Embiid. You definitely don't have a chance. Daniel Tice is a smaller Embiid. Yeah, get your weight up. And you saw it several times. Embiid just took Christian Wood straight to the paint. So Embiid is looking to feast on whoever gets in his way right now. So that's part of it, right? Like, I look at the Hornets. I'm like, we play the Hornets tomorrow at home. Obviously, LaMelo's back. They still have Miles Bridges out there. Terry Rozier's back, I think. Who's guarding Embiid? You know what I
Cody
mean?
Zeller?
Like, who's guarding Embiid? And then
Cody Zeller.
when you decide that you want to double team Embiid, here it comes. Your worst
Yeah.
nightmare because you're double teaming Embiid and we got guys that are going to hit you open shots. So
I'll tell you what, though, man, looking at the schedule, I didn't realize the dates. And obviously, as Eagles fans, we got the 14th and 15th with Sixers, 14th and 15th, 16th, Eagles Bucks playoffs,
nice.
17th Wizards.
Nice.
Not too shabby.
Big ass weekend coming up.
Not too shabby.
I like it. I like it, man. So what would you say over the next 5 games? What would be the record that you want to see? What would be
over the next
outcome?
5? I'd say with as hot as they are, I think 4-1's feasible. I'm feeling 3-2.
Yeah.
I'm feeling they drop 2 of these next 5. But
as
hot as they are at the level that he's playing at, like that's why I'm so high on this team as of right now. Yeah. Because of what I said in the first 5 minutes. Before, no, I'd be down and out. Like any given night, the Sixers could play down to a team. Right. And then obviously you got the Heat and the Celtics and the Hornets thrown in there. This could be rough, right? He's playing at such a high level and he's so dominant right now. You can't pick against them right now, no matter who they're playing.
Oh. Went a little premature there. I thought I had the actual conferences up next, but it's all good. No, I'm with you. I think in reality, as far as them being the better team, right? They should go 5-0 in reality, but well, I shouldn't say in reality, in theoretically, but in reality, I do agree with you. I think a 4-1, 3-2, as long as you keep it above 500 over the next 5, I think I'll be happy because as you look at the overall picture, they dropped 2 of these, 11 games that we have talked about here. That's not a big deal at all. The next thing I wanted to get to, Dylan, another rumor comes out, and there's just been a plethora of rumors regarding the Ben
man, I'm done with it. I'll believe something when I see something. Like I'm done with the speculation. So it's talks are heating up, blah blah blah. Talks have come to a halt, blah blah blah. The Sixers only won a few players. The Sixers have a list of 25 to 30 players. Like, come on. Like, when something happens, when something's set in stone, I'll talk about, like, this is getting ridiculous.
I feel you. And it seems like it's every day that something's coming out. Like, you start the day with this, right? 76ers trying to include
and it's 100 different sources and 100 different reporters tweeting something different every day.
But then right before we come on this show, what's Woj put out on ESPN? That there has been no movement.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to trust Woj over everyone. That's just the way the NBA world works. But just to talk about some of these rumors. So obviously we had this one come out today. 76ers trying to include Tobias Harris in a trade of Ben Simmons. Over the past few days, we've seen John Collins and Cam Reddish for Ben Simmons. Would we accept that? Obviously, we've heard the Jaylen Brown rumors. We've heard the Sacramento rumors. I guess where I want to start here, I want to start with the John Collins and Cam Reddish. Straight up, would you accept that trade for Ben Simmons? Let me read you their stats on the season.
Yeah.
John Collins this season, 17.5 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game. He's actually shooting 42.7% from 3, which is pretty good for him. Cam Reddish, 11.9 points per game, 37.9% from 3, which if I don't give you any other stats, it's because they're not worthwhile.
Cam's numbers would definitely go up here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because there's a lot of mouths to feed in Atlanta offensively.
Yeah.
So here he'd have more of a role offensively. Dude, I mean, do I love the trade? Like day one, would I've said yes? Do I want it? No. Again, it's tough because did we really wait all this time, hold out on all this time for John Collins and Cam Reddish? But I guess, no, it's not the trade I want. But if that's the offer and there's nothing else or nothing better, are you saying no and just holding on? Are you holding on to Ben till the offseason?
If it's February 9th or, February 10th, 3 p.m. and the trade deadline's at 4 p.m., are you accepting that trade just to help Embiid out? Like we see with this stretch that the Embiid and Sixers are on right now. Are you accepting this trade just to get him some help right now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but Does that push the needle? Does John Collins and Cam Reddish get
know.
the Sixers team, to where they want to get?
Because think about John Collins. Besides,
and I don't even like John
Harris.
Collins.
I know. I hate.
How's that supposed to work?
I hate him, man.
He clotheslines Joel Embiid on a dunk and then puts it on a t-shirt, and that why? I know the Hawks, that was a hot rumor that came out a couple days ago. There's no way. First of all, think about this, right? It's all about money, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. And now would Ben Simmons help the Hawks? Yeah. Atlanta does nothing but clown Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
You think Hawks fans are going to be happy and purchase tickets and buy merch with that trade?
Right. Because ask yourself, look at that series last postseason. And obviously, I know the fits are 100% different. I know John Collins' skill set is 100% different from Ben.
But
who was more successful in that series?
No, I feel that.
You know what
but
I mean?
If you ask me who the better basketball player is, it's
Ben
2-5.
Simmons.
Right. Yeah. Then what happens with the lineup? We're starting him and Toby next. We're having two power forwards next to Embiid. That to me is at the bottom of my list of what I would say yes to. But if there's nothing else, I said,
nothing else you would take.
Ben's not coming back. Ben's not going to play. Why would you know what I mean? So you're adding those two for a guy that's not playing at all. So I don't know.
So let's move on to the Tobias Harris article.
To give you an answer, we'll say yes.
Okay.
We'll say yeah, I guess.
And I can get the reasoning on both sides because one, you just want to get goddamn something, right? We want some type of production with all this money that's just sitting on the bench right now.
And I know you're a huge Cam fan, so
I am a huge Cam fan. I said fam because I used to be part of the Cam fam when he was at Duke, but I am a huge Cam fan. And as you mentioned, I think he has a ton of upside. And I think he would explode in Philly just because. I think, to put it in a more lame sense, Cam Reddish, I think, is the better piece than John Collins. John Collins, I could see as a piece you trade for, and then you just move him. But Cam Reddish, I think, is a piece you trade for, and you keep him for the long run, and I think you let him develop beside Embiid and Maxey and all those guys.
Right.
Moving on to just this specific Tobias Harris article, obviously, I read through it. The moral of the story is that, yes, the Sixers will explore it. It's not realistic. They have close to $70 million between Ben and Tobias. So obviously not one team can take on both of those guys. It would have to be a 3-team trade. And that is basically the Sixers conceding the season. It's a last ditch attempt, clearing cap space. And then the focus shifts to the offseason where they pursue James Harden. So now my follow-up question to that is, on the other end of the scope, where you can get John Collins, Cam Reddish, or you can get De'Aaron Fox or a Halliburton from Sacramento, whatever the case may be, or you play your cards and you wait, you deal Toby, you deal Ben, you get whatever in return just to clear the cap, and then you basically concede this season despite the way Embiid's playing, because obviously if you don't have those two guys, you're not going to win a championship. And then you go after James Harden, who would, one, have to opt out of Brooklyn, and then two, decide to come and play with Daryl Morey and Embiid and play for the Sixers. He would have to choose the Sixers. So when you're thinking about it from that standpoint, which option would you prefer? You know what I mean?
Listen, man.
Is it worth waiting for James Harden? How realistic is that?
It goes against everything I've argued for. Right, I'm not okay watching what Embiid's doing and just throwing in the towel on this season, and holding out. Right, in the moment, I'd hate it. Come summertime, and we do acquire James Harden. Holy shit, we're going to the NBA championship. That's the mindset, right? So it's very difficult. I'm not okay with conceding the season. Yeah. If you told me, this is the layout, this is what will happen. If you move Toby, Ben, concede the season, Harden is going to sign with the Sixers. Yeah, I mean, yes, I'd probably wait because I don't want to concede the season.
I know what you mean.
But is John Collins and Cam Reddish giving you, a better chance in this season than just holding out till the summer and then having James Harden and Joel for the next 2 to 3 seasons. Even though I don't want to give up this season with how great he is.
Yeah.
I'd wait if that's the definitive plan. No, I'm not throwing darts at the wall and like we're saying this is what could happen. Hell no, I'm not okay with that.
Right.
But behind the scenes, if this is how things are going to play out, yeah, I'd probably choose the latter, which is wait for James Harden in the summer, then trade for John Collins right now. If you're like Jaylen Brown right now or James Harden in the summer, it's Jaylen Brown right now. If you know what I mean?
Right.
But like if you're throwing me that package that I barely want from Atlanta, even the Kings, the Kings is better than the Atlanta one, but is Halliburton and Hield getting the Sixers through a championship, or do I just wait till June or July for James Harden? You know what I'm saying?
And so that's how I imagine Morey has to think, right? Like that's what he's like. Because if you look at Daryl Morey, his resume, his career, it's all going to rely on how he handles if he wins this situation, right? Because he's elongated this whole situation. We originally got an offer of a 13th pick and Malcolm Brogdon to start the summer. And if you would look back at that right now in hindsight, you'd probably take it at this point.
Right. With how it's played out now,
how it's played out. And so when we look back after Ben Simmons is finally traded, whatever the package may be, Daryl Morey is going to be under the telescope, right? Like everybody's going to be looking in. How did he handle this situation? It doesn't matter what Ben did. How did Daryl Morey handle this situation? And if we end up getting like a John Collins and a Cam Reddish back, he's going to get
all this time.
He's going to get pinned on the cross, man.
Right.
and that's
my point when you're optioning the two against each other, right?
Right.
He's going to get pinned on the cross for both
regardless.
Yeah, in the moment.
Because if he's not traded by the deadline, fans are going to be pissed.
Right. But the second option, people will be rushing to get him off the cross.
Exactly.
Helping him down when that second option would happen. Again, you would have to know this is the plan. This is what's happening.
And if it isn't Harden, what's the backup plan? Right.
Right. Is it then Jaylen Brown? Yeah.
That's a lot to put all your eggs in one basket, right? Like James Harden is going to opt out from Brooklyn, right? Like, is he going to opt out from Brooklyn? We don't know that, right? Like that. There is a lot of uncertainty.
Didn't James Harden have a lot of say in where he went the deadline?
Definitely did.
And where did he choose?
He definitely picked Brooklyn, right? He wanted to go play with KD and Kyrie.
Okay. So now why a summer later is he going to opt out?
Make that make sense.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe Brooklyn did just offer something better and the Rockets were like, hey, listen, man, sorry. But
and maybe Morey does have this very special connection with James Harden that we're underestimating.
Right.
Maybe. And
maybe the Rockets weren't going to deal with Morey. Harden said, I'll go here for the year, try to win a chip, or 2 years, try to win a chip. Whatever. I don't know. This is all hypothetical.
It's all hypothetical.
This is why it's cool to talk about, but it's also very frustrating to talk about because I've been waiting so goddamn long for this to be over.
It's like beating your head on a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it really feels like, honestly, because we just sit here and go through all these scenarios, and it's going to be some off-the-wall scenario that we didn't expect in the first place.
100%.
So it's a sticky situation. And then on the other side of it, I don't know how, realistic it is to think that you're going to move Tobias and Ben, right? Like $70 million in contracts there. So we'll see. But James Harden, I mean, to look back and look at where we are now, I think I want James Harden more now than I did, a year ago at the deadline. Like a year ago at the deadline, I feel like I was part of the crowd that was saying like, no, I'm not including Ben Simmons in that deal.
Right, and Maxey was a part of it. So, like, that's the point, right?
Teams.
If you got to wait, all you're losing is Toby, and you're adding Harden to Maxey, Embiid, etc.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good point. Because imagine,
Again, I'm not I'm pinning Darryl to the cross, too. I'm part of that crowd.
I'm with you.
Because I'm not okay right now conceding this season at
I'm
all.
with you. Until he gets James Harden, he will be on that cross.
Yes, 100%. Because again, you just have to be a little rational rather than just thinking about this season.
Yeah.
Just because they make a trade, does that mean that puts the Sixers in title contention? No, John Collins and Cam Reddish probably don't do that.
Right.
Next year, does James Harden next to Joel Embiid make the Sixers probably finals favorites?
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little rational with it, even though you don't want to wait.
Just like for hypothetical reasons, obviously, like there's no solidarity
now,
that comes to
this
rumor, right, of James Harden, but just imagine those two playing together. I mean,
right, but real quick, does it get Darryl off the cross? Because what if the rumors are true and he wasn't willing to give up Ben for Harden? If he would have given up Ben last year for Harden, we'd have James Harden already right now. And now all this played out where Ben won't come back, and now we're waiting to move Ben forward. You get what I'm saying? Like,
there's some people that
does it even get him off the cross? Because what if that's the case? What if we could have had him a year ago, but he wasn't willing to give up the dude that won't show up now, and this is why we're trying to acquire him again?
Yeah. It's stuff that won't come out until Ben Simmons is gone. That's as soon as Ben Simmons is out the door, we're going to get a bunch of articles. We're going to get a bunch of information that we would have wished we would have had throughout this whole process. So it's just it's a waiting game right now, which is the most annoying waiting game that I've ever played in my life. Mm-hmm. Just looking at this one hypothetical trade where I think this is actually something that's realistic. Now, what they always say, the rule of thumb regarding mock trades is that it isn't a good mock trade if each fan base doesn't complain a little bit. Yeah. So I think this is one of those mock trades. I think that, the Pacers would probably say Pacers fans would say they're not getting enough in return for Miles Turner, TJ Warren. But in reality, you're getting Robert Williams, who is on a similar track to Miles Turner. Matisse Thybulle is an all-world defender. Obviously, he lacks on the offensive
TJ Warren hasn't played in how long?
And you get two first-round picks. You get one from Philly, which won't
be rebuilding.
That good. You get one from Boston that should be pretty good. And then, the Celtics get Ben Simmons, Miles Turner, TJ Warren. I don't know why they would complain. I think, looking at that, that's a pretty solid return. You get TJ Warren.
If TJ Warren ends up healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
It balances out Ben Simmons' deficiencies.
You're talking about Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum, TJ Warren, Miles Turner, and Marcus Smart potentially.
Right.
You still have Schroeder. You still
that's a pretty nice squad.
Boston, I think, would be okay.
It's a pretty nice squad.
And then obviously we're okay. I'm chilling. Yeah. I got what I wanted. Merry Christmas.
The other rule of thumb regarding mock trades is the team that gets the best player in the deal wins the trade. And that's what you're seeing in Philadelphia's case there. They get Jaylen Brown. That's the one piece that they get. They give up a first, Matisse and Ben. Nothing is stopping me in that package. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
And he's not going to Boston. He's going to Indiana. So that's another, that's a plus.
To quote Scotty, argue at a wall. Nope. Say it, Tease.
Because my thing is, Jaylen Brown can, I'm not going to go that far to say Jaylen Brown can do anything Matisse can do defensively. No, obviously, Matisse instincts are on a different level defensively. But, Jaylen Brown sweeps him under the rug offensively, obviously. And he's still a lengthy, athletic, great defender at the wing position. So, yeah, Jaylen Brown, I've been saying this for maybe a month now, a couple weeks at least. Jaylen Brown is the prized possession at this point for me. Now, obviously, James Harden, he's not going to get traded. He's more of a free agency option at the end of the season. So I'm not considering him in the conversation. But even when I compare a Dame or Beal's a conversation because I don't know how available he really would be. But Beal is a conversation with Jaylen Brown. But as far as a guard or a wing, right? I think that the Sixers should be looking for a wing ideally in this situation. And I think Jaylen Brown would be the perfect fit besides say Tyrese Maxey, Seth, Jaylen Brown, Toby, Joel Embiid.
Listen,
that's a monster lineup.
Scotty, I don't get how it doesn't happen. Not this
Makes
trade.
too much sense.
Not this trade.
Yeah.
But I just don't get. Boston is tearing at the seams right now.
Yeah.
They're falling apart. All the rumors and speculation are that the duo is getting broken up. Why would you not do this? And the Sixers are on board because the Sixers, he's one of the coveted names that they'd want. Yeah. Why? How this doesn't happen by trade deadline, I don't know. Boston has no championship aspiration. They have to know.
Yeah.
We have all the talent. These two dudes have all the talent in the world. We have Schroeder. We have Smart. We have blah, blah, blah. It's not working. We're blowing it up after the season in terms of these two. Why would it not happen now? Why would you not pull the trigger on Ben Simmons? Yeah. What if call Philly and Ben Simmons, and I know you're not going to like it, well, because they'd both be going there, but Ben and Matisse, we got a deal? Hell yes, we have a deal. I mean, I don't know how the money would play up. The money between Brown and Ben has to be semi-similar,
It's got to be similar, yeah. It's got to be similar. And, with Matisse is such an interesting prospect. Like, love the guy's character, love his personality.
He's awesome, dude.
Love his defensive.
He's awesome, but let's get real. Let's get real. Why are the Sixers? If Matisse was this great player that can't be thrown in for one of these guys like Jaylen Brown, why are the Sixers not in championship contention right now?
Exactly.
Like, if he was held to that standard where some of this fan base holds him to, how are they not already in the conversation? Yeah. Because he's so good that we can't get rid of him for anybody.
You know what Sixers fans and, just NBA minds in general need to realize is that on this Sixers team, they have to eliminate these one-sided products that they have on the team. Like the Ben Simmons, it's great defensively. He's great until you get to the playoffs and he freezes on offense. Matisse Thybulle is great on a night. Like Ty Johnson said it best on Faithful Fanatics, right? One night out of the 7 games that you're going to play the Warriors if you met them in the finals,
he'll be
Matisse will get the best of Steph on defense, right? The other 6 nights, Steph is going to score 30 points no matter what. It's an offensive league. You can throw Ben Simmons on him. He's going to score 30 points every single night because great scorers find ways to score. And that's what we need to start realizing. Defense is great.
I've been saying that, man.
Defense is great.
It's great. I love it. But I'm so tired of that argument. Well, who's going to guard who? What has it gotten us so far? A second-round exit every year.
Exactly.
What has this defensive prowess got us? Not only did you not, for the last 3 years now, you've had Ben and Matisse, and you got an all-NBA defensive center anchoring down your defense. What has it gotten you?
3 defensive anchors right there, right?
Nothing. And Switch it the hell up. I understand the worries. Well, who's going to guard KD? I get that's a worry. Yeah. That's 100% a worry. But you know what makes me feel better? Having someone on our own side that can go and match KD with 30 next to Joel Embiid.
Exactly.
Because like you said, Scotty, you're never going to stop them.
You're never going to stop KD.
You can slow them down a little bit. You're never going to stop them. A game, sure. We saw Matisse do it to Steph the last time the Sixers played the Warriors. Exactly. He was awesome on Steph. That's one freaking game.
It's one game, man.
You're never going to stop them. Let me get someone in here that can match it.
And let's be honest, this coaching staff that the Sixers have put together, they're great coaches. It's a great coaching staff defensively. They have Dan Burke.
Figure something out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like Dan Burke can figure it out. You have Joel Embiid as your anchor. Yeah. You figure it out. When we're talking about Jaylen Brown, like that's my thing with the Jaylen Brown conversation. You'll have Sixers fans tell you that Matisse is untouchable. In what fucking world?
But that's my point, Scotty.
What world?
So again, I would ask these people that are no, we can't trade this person, and who's going to guard KD? If that was so damn important, if that was such a key to have locked up, why does no one view the Sixers as championship contenders?
100%.
Because they don't have enough. So these people want to keep Matisse's defense. They want to keep someone's defense. and still add a 30-point score. You got to get to give, bro.
Exactly.
So, like, what do you want? You want to give up Maxey then? Like, if Matisse's defense is so important, throw Maxey in the equation then. No, we can't do that either. Then what do you want to do? Then we're stuck here. We're stuck in limbo because you're not changing anything. Am I guaranteeing you a championship because they add Jaylen Brown? No, I'm not. But you have a hell of a better chance with that than you do right now. And if 100%. Matisse Thybulle was so damn great and important and his defense means the world, why are they not viewed as championship contention now? And you can't just say, well, we got to add something to all of it. How? Give me the plan. Who are you moving to bring them in? Because clearly just saying, here's Ben Simmons isn't bringing you a superstar.
Exactly.
You got to get to give.
Exactly. And, to your point, just looking at this, if I'm Daryl Morey, I'm literally on the phone with Boston and I'm on the phone with Indiana every day until the trade deadline, till we get something figured out. Because there's no reason.
Every morning, bro. I'll annoy the hell out of you. Every
single morning.
I'll make an offer, right? No, thanks. Hang up. Next day, we got a deal. Nope. Hang up.
What do you think today?
Next day, oh, you just blew a 20-point lead last night. You could really use a 6'10" point guard.
Right.
No. Okay. Next day. Every day.
Yo, Indiana, what do we need to do to get Sabonis involved to Boston here to make this happen? Right. Yeah. There's no way Boston can say no to Ben Simmons and Sabonis, right?
No.
What do we need to do to make that happen? How many first-round picks? How many Matisse Thybulles, right? Like,
what's next, Scotty? Like, they'll want Ben and 3 first-round picks. I can't give up 3 first-round picks.
See, no. Yeah, I'm doing that all day, period. Get Jaylen Brown in a Sixers uniform. That is that's my motto for this show today. Get Jaylen Brown in a Sixers uniform. Save him from Boston. And save Embiid in Philly.
Part, right? I love that. Like it's fun, right? But I just got seriously angry for a second thinking about the fans that don't want to change anything. And meanwhile, the Sixers are on a 7-game winning streak. This equation, this scenario needs to be put to bed. Daryl, do something major quickly. You like 100%. That plug? That was good. I know 100%. It was. Do something major, Daryl, and get his ass out of here and bring me and this city Jaylen Brown, and let's go make a freaking run.
Exactly. And to be clear, I think Jaylen Brown, Jaylen and Embiid, Which we look at Jaylen Brown, for instance, last night against Indiana, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. Everybody tells me he doesn't pass the ball. He had 6 assists last night. I'm looking around the league and thinking about what I want the most. And I think Jaylen Brown does take them to that championship aspirations. I really do 100%. Believe it. I do believe it.
110%. Am I calling the Sixers favorites? No. You got the Warriors, the Suns, the Nets, the Bucks. But guess what, Scotty? They're in the conversation.
Exactly.
And if you're in the conversation and you have the most dominant big in the world in Joel Embiid next to Jaylen Brown, who can give you 25 to 30 a night.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And bro, honestly, I think, if they were ever able to get something done.
Let's real quick, not to cut you off, but guess what that does, Scotty? Because this scenario isn't the opening up cap space for James Harden scenario. So I know we're all frustrated with them, but that makes number 12 now the 3rd or 4th option offensively, not the Robin to Embiid's Batman, and that changes the dynamic now, right? That might make him more effective.
Exactly.
Toby's 18 to 20 points per game become that much better when they're the 3rd highest, not the 2nd highest on the team.
Exactly. And maybe by adding a Jaylen Brown, Toby's averages drop to like a 16 or 15.
Toby gets those mismatches again that we saw last year. Maybe that 16
or 15 is the most efficient version of Tobias, right? Like maybe that's what happens.
Right.
So
and you still have Seth, and you still have Maxey, and you still have Niang and Drummond.
And bro, I would, at that point, you can consider now, as you get closer to the deadline, you can consider moving some of these younger pieces for veteran pieces to fill in beside
100%.
These guys. You
100%.
traded Paul Reed and an Isaiah Joe for a nice solid wing defender or something. You can do those things once you move Ben Simmons. That's the piece that is holding this whole thing up that we call the Philadelphia 76ers. So I am with you. Real quick, before we end the show, Dylan, I know I got you over an hour already. Got the
every
standings
time,
here.
Every time.
I got the standings here, Western Conference, Eastern Conference, right beside each other. These are the most up-to-date. Really just wanted to talk about, obviously, we had Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving returning to play over the last 2 weeks. As you look at these playoff rank or these seedings in each conference, how do you think this affects the NBA as a whole? Klay returning to the Golden State Warriors. Are they now the runaway favorite in the West? You look at Brooklyn in the East, they're number 2 to Chicago right now. Chicago's been balling to start the season. Is Brooklyn now the clear-cut favorite with a part-time Kyrie? Like, what are your thoughts just seeing them, one, return to the league? Like, what does it mean for the NBA? And then 2, what does it mean for the Western Conference and Eastern Conference as a whole?
Let's start with Kyrie because I don't sweat that. Does it give Brooklyn a few more wins? Yeah, it does, right? They're still going to be a top 2 seed in the East. They're going to be dominant, right? But let's not forget, he's part-time. Like you said, he can't play at home, and he cannot play in cities that have these mandates. Let's talk about our city, Philadelphia. Just had the new mandate start January 3rd. Guess who can't play in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving. So let's just take that, right? Sixers meet the Nets in the playoffs. He's still not vaccinated. He can't play a single game in that series. Part-time, give him a few more wins. It's exciting. Getting to see those 3 play again as a basketball fan is cool. It doesn't do anything for me unless he's back full-time. Klay? Oh, boy. And I love the Warriors. Like anyone, I know some people that can't stand Steph, can't stand the Warriors.
Not
Get the hell out of here, bro. They're 30-9. They are 30-9 without, well, they were 29-9, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah.
Without him. You have Steph playing at an MVP type level. I don't know at what percent Klay's back. I don't know what he's going to be able to produce night in and night out. If he's going to need multiple nights off here and there, I don't know. Draymond, we all know what Draymond Green does. But it's not just those 3 anymore, Scotty. Andrew Wiggins can put 20 plus on your head on any given night. Jordan Poole can put 20 plus on your head on any given night. They're deep on their bench. They're so damn good defensively.
And they're mixed with young and veterans. It's a nice mix.
Dude, yes. So Kyrie, no, doesn't change much for me. Klay adding to that team, favorites in the West.
Yeah. Because I think when you look at the Warriors without Klay, you're probably looking at like a toss-up between like them and Phoenix and them and like Utah.
Right, you could throw Utah in the mix, right?
Which looking at the West, this is like doesn't it just look odd?
Oh, it looks odd because of who number 4 is. I said that to you.
Right. Memphis.
My God, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies.
They're for real, man. They're dangerous.
They're ahead of schedule, bro.
They're dangerous.
But it definitely looks weird because obviously you got
the Mavericks.
Right. I mean, you got the Lakers with all their struggles in the world right now, which all I can do is laugh.
And look at Portland down there at 10.
Right. The Clippers, obviously, no Kawhi. PG's been out. COVID. They're struggling. Minnesota being 20-20 is kind of odd. But that number 17 is funny, man. It's so funny. I argued with George Ryder about it again last night. Alcohol may or may not have been involved in the conversation.
What about
what?
What about specifically?
Oh, just the good old GOAT talk.
Oh, okay. Jordan, LeBron. LeBron Pro.
Yeah, gotcha. And it's just hilarious to me. Like, let's look at that Western Conference, right? And let's look at number 7. You do realize he handpicked his situation right now, right? He handpicked that situation right now. The 9,000 offseason acquisitions he signed, all his friends he brought in, that's him. You think they trade for Russell Westbrook without him saying, get me Russell Westbrook? Hell to the no, they don't. He did that. And all this mess, it's Russ, it's Bron, it's AD. He's the mastermind behind it all. And regardless, dude, throw fit out the freaking window. You're barely a 500 team with you, the greatest player of all time, with Anthony Davis, and with Russell Westbrook. I know a lot of people have different opinions about Russell Westbrook. That's not a 500 team. Throw fit out the window.
Yeah.
That is hilarious to me. You know what else? I brought this up the other day. Me and my uncle were talking about it, and it's hilarious to think, right? And it's not like a fair argument at all. It's just really funny. So, like, you know how everyone talks about the longevity, LeBron in year 17.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Do not get me wrong. But let's think about this realistically for a second. One dude probably pays hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars and spends all this time and energy into staying in the physique that he's in. And good for him, right? But that's why he's able to play till year 17.
Mm-hmm.
Another dude smoked cigars and drank a 12-pack of Bud Light on a golf course the day of a playoff game and then went and dropped 6. Like, do you get my point? Like, there's a reason the longevity's not there. One dude smoked and drank his way through just mowing down the league, and the other dude spends millions of dollars to stay in top physique. Get the hell out of here, bro.
Yeah, like give Michael Jordan the resources that LeBron has these days.
And
right?
I mean, Mike wouldn't have utilized the resources. That's a whole different
conversation.
Mike wouldn't have utilized the resources. He didn't. Come on, he didn't care, bro. Right? But like, think about that for a second, though. Dude literally is on a golf course the day before or the day of a playoff game, smoking cigars and pounding Bud Lights, gambling, and then goes and puts 55 on your head in a playoff game.
And so, you know, just because we're talking about LeBron and, you know, whatever, I know people might watch this segment and we'll clip this up and you know, put it everywhere. But please tell me what LeBron is like better than Embiid at this point. Like
Embiid?
Yeah, Embiid. Like, it's a conversation. Like, because when I talk to like Lakers fans, they'll sit here and tell me like, nah, we got the GOAT. Like, he's the most dominant player. He's still the best player in the world. Like, no, the conversation has shifted. Like, it's KD, it's Steph, it's Giannis. Like, it's not LeBron. Like, LeBron is still a great player. He's still probably top 5, top 6. Yes. But like when we're having conversations, there's levels to play now. And when I look and I watch Embiid go out here every single night, dropping 30 plus on mid-range jump shots, taking people to the post,
13 of 13 from the free throw line,
13 get into the free throw line 10 plus times,
11 assists, 4
shooting
blocks,
threes, like passing them. Like, this is something that we have to talk about, and I'm being dead ass serious when I say that Embiid is the most dominant player on the surface of the planet. He's the most dominant player on the planet. Like I said, Giannis is in the conversation. KD's in the conversation. I prefer KD than Giannis, just because when you talk about skill, when we bring, so we can talk about freaks of nature, right? Giannis, KD, Joel Embiid, all 7 feet tall, all freaks of nature, can get up and down the court like a guard, can handle the ball. When we talk about shooting ability, Embiid and KD are in a different ballpark. When we talk about go-to moves, Embiid and KD are in a different ballpark. And so I'm looking at all this, and my head's just been spinning, Dylan, watching Embiid go off lately. And I've come to the conclusion I'm not going to sit here and hide from it anymore. I'm not going to lie to myself.
Let's preface it like this.
You know what I mean?
Can we definitively say he's the best player? He's the most dominant player? No, I can't definitively tell you that. But it's a conversation. There is no laughing it off because we're Sixers fans. No, if you laugh it off, you're most likely a J.O. and you don't care and you're just being a troll. Like, you get my point. Like, it's a conversation.
Some people don't even put him in their top 5. Some people don't even put Embiid in their top 5 players in the league.
Scotty, literally 5 days ago, Rudy Gobert was number 4 in the MVP conversation. Joel Embiid was 10. Like, are we being for real, dude? Like, come on.
Like, take all your analytics.
By the way, another issue I have with fan bases. The fan vote needs to disappear. Now, I've said it for 4 or 5 years now. It needs to go. Dude, it's not just Derrick Rose.
Scotty,
I know, Klay Thompson.
Kyrie's played one game.
Klay Thompson just came back for one game and he's like number 4 in backcourt voting for the Western Conference.
Make it make sense, man. Like, I agree. Like, if you're gonna give out these accolades and then hold them as like measurements of their career, like when they're about to get, when they're about to get decided on if they're gonna get added to the Hall of Fame or inducted to the Hall of Fame, I should say, then we got to fix these accolades. We can't have fans voting on players getting into the Hall of Fame ultimately, right? Like,
hold on,
if this said player has 10 All-Star nods, he goes into the Hall. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The popularity contest.
I have the vote that I saw right here. Okay. So the Eastern Conference front court. Nothing really looks out of place to me. I mean, Durant, Giannis, Embiid, Tatum, Jimmy, Jared Allen's getting some respect, of course. Bam, Miles Bridges. Aldridge probably shouldn't have 111,000 votes. Vucevic is 10. Let's get to the guards, right? Now, DeRozan, Harden, Trae Young, Levine, LaMelo's got a popular vote. Okay, sure. Number 6, Kyrie Irving's barely played this year. Number 7, benchman Derrick Rose. Number 8, Tyler Hero with 122,000 votes. Darius Garland's behind them all. Fred VanVleet's behind both of them. Explain that to me. Who's more deserving to be an All-Star this year? One of those two, or Kyrie Irving, Derrick Rose, and Tyler Hero? Okay, let's move over. Let's see. LeBron, of course, number 1, right? He's going to be a captain because it's LeBron. Paul George is number 3. Really? I mean, hasn't PG missed a lot of time?
He has been injured lately. He started like on an MVP track.
Hold on, I mean, we can keep it going, man. How about Anthony Davis at number 6?
He hasn't
probably the worst, not to mention probably the worst year of his career in a long time. He's number 6. Carmelo Anthony is number 8. Who else I got for you? Oh, here we go. Steph, Luka, Ja, Klay. Number 4 just came back for 1 game. Russell Westbrook, who no one can stand, is on the list. Damian Lillard, who season might be over. Portland has 16 wins. He hasn't been very good. He's on the list at number 7.
Like, where's Devin Booker?
He's up there. Sorry. Devin Booker.
Okay. So okay. I got it.
But he's not. Devin Booker's number 5.
After Klay. Like,
the best player on the second best record in the NBA
Donovan
is the
Mitchell.
5th guard. Donovan Mitchell's number 7. Chris Paul's number 6. All right. I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Make it make sense. I mean, that's all we can say about it. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense, and that's what people don't get me started.
All right, man. We're pushing an hour and a half here.
Oh yeah, yeah, we are.
It's time to end it. We were talking about Klay and Kyrie. I mean,
right.
It's hard not to touch the goal.
Right.
No, but it'll be interesting to see how Klay ends up panning out. Just because I for one just want to see him stay healthy. Mm-hmm. But obviously that Warriors team is going to be good regardless. And Kyrie, I think Brooklyn will be good regardless. But it will be interesting to see if it kind of messes up their rhythm. You know what I mean? If you're playing one night with a guy that can get you 23 points, and then all of a sudden you're not.
I mean, real quick,
night.
I know we got to wrap up, but like, I just can't believe they're allowing it. Like Steve Nash earlier in the year was no. This is our group. They show up every day to work. Blah blah blah. You've been the number 1 or number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference all year long. It's not like you're struggling to win games. Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden you're like, we need Kyrie.
So the only thing that I saw, and it kind of makes sense, like I get where he's coming from, but it is funny that he's just like backtracking. Like, okay, like why? Yeah, like you said, like at the beginning of the season, this is not what you were singing.
Yeah.
But he's like, we're signing all these guys to 2-way 10-day contracts. He's like, what's the difference between them as a part-time player and Kyrie as a part-time player? So, like, but down the stretch,
listen, I'm not the guy to talk to about mandates and vaccination status, but like those guys are following the rules the NBA has put in place. Yeah. One is going against them, and you're basically rewarding him because he's a superstar over these 10-day contract guys. And you do what you want. Your team.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
can
saying.
do what you want, but morality is a thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I definitely feel that. Anything else before we get out of here tonight, Dylan?
No, I think we covered just about everything. No, just some quick plugs.
Yeah.
The Faithful Fanatic Show, me and Gitten will be back live tomorrow here on DSM Media at 5 p.m. breaking down, the latest going on with the 76ers that Scotty and I did tonight, and also diving into this Sunday's playoff game between the Eagles and the Bucks. And then Thursday at 5 on the Faithful Fanatic Show, ESPN's Paul Hembakidis, a.k.a. Hembo, will be joining us to talk about that playoff matchup and probably some ongoing stuff with the 76ers as well. And of course, check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Look at our pinned tweet and just follow the simple steps to be entered for a chance to win our one of the prizes or multiple of the prizes in our major Eagles playoff giveaway. We're raffling off a Devontae Smith black alternate jersey along with a Devontae Smith framed picture. We're raffling off a Brian Dawkins tie-dye Mitchell & Ness t-shirt. We're raffling off a Randall Cunningham Mitchell & Ness tie-dye t-shirt. And we're also raffling off a Nike Eagles 2021 playoffs t-shirt. All you have to do is follow or subscribe on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Like the video, retweet the tweet, whatever the rules are for each site, and you'll be entered for a chance to win tonight only. If you follow those steps on any of the social media platforms, your name will be entered twice tonight only to get in for that. So guys, go check it out. It's that simple.
And something to kind of note, just regarding YouTube, for all of our people that are already subscribed, it's not that you're left out. Just comment, do something major.
Yeah.
Literally, and we'll get you entered in as well. So just to be clear, I know
not
Chile,
new followers only. Yeah, it's
exactly.
Followers only.
A lot of you guys are here with us every time, and we will reward you as well. Like just comment, do something major in the comments there, and we'll get you involved. But yes, definitely a great plug there. And then did you plug Sunday as well? We got to open.
No, I didn't.
Sunday.
So yes,
may as well get ahead of it now.
Sunday morning, 10 a.m. live here on DSM Media Turf Talk, which is where we will be raffling off these great prizes. Guys, biggest Eagles pregame show of the season. Scotty and I will be hosting it. Come hang out with us. Whether you want to tune in the comment section and engage with us there, feel free to do that. If you want to pop in for a few minutes, just audio. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Just pop in with your cell phone on the audio. We will be dropping the link in the comment section. Talk about the game, your predictions, how excited you are. Ask us any questions, and feel free to do that. And we'll be having a lot of Eagles fans hopefully joining us. And exactly, there you go, Will. Hashtag do something major. It's literally that simple, guys, to win a couple very nice prizes.
Yes, sir. So definitely see you all on Sunday, as Willie said there. Chile, Grizzlies over the Warriors tonight. I think the Warriors are 2-point favorites. No Draymond, but no Dylan Brooks, no Steven Adams for the Grizzlies.
I'm going Warriors.
I'm going to go Warriors. Yeah, I'm going to go Warriors. It's in Memphis, so it'll be an interesting one. Definitely one to watch, but I'm going to go Warriors in that one. So they should keep that lead in the Western Conference there. But yes, that's all for tonight. Enough housekeeping, house cleaning. Oh my goodness, I getting confused between my words there. But for myself, Dylan, make sure you're following Dylan on Twitter at DylanJD98 and myself at Scotty Drowned. Make sure you're tapped into all of DSM Media's social media platforms. You already know. Find the link tree. But first, start at Twitter. That's our most popular social media platform. Mm-hmm. You'll find all of our links there to IG, TikTok, all of the above. But that's at DSM_media. And finally, as you know, we are partnered with Manscaped. So make sure to head over to manscaped.com. Use code Scotty to get 20% off and free shipping. Other than that, guys, have a great night. That's going to be it for this episode of Scotty Talks NBA.